Welcome to the channel, guys. It's been a very long time since I posted a video, and we're finally getting to where the weather, as you can see, is finally starting to about half cooperate. It's kind of windy, so I hope that it's not muffling the camera too bad. But other than the wind, I mean, it's a little chilly, but it's not horrible. We've had rain for quite a few days now, and snow and everything, so it's kind of limited me to what I could do to the car and everything, as it's not in a garage or anything like that. So I know the last video I took off the bumpers and everything like that, and I know I had talked about this right here having a big dent in it and everything, and a little bit of rust, not too bad, but it's been off the car for a little bit. So I did actually remove that then, which I believe it's just, if I remember right, 4 bolts. So really, that's not too bad. I know a lot of you have been commenting about, you want me to show you how I do this stuff and like go a little bit more in depth with it, which I'm gonna try and do. But as far as like removing exhaust and everything, you guys already seen me do that if you watched when I fixed the flex pipe on this shortly after I bought the car. So basically, I got some of the stuff accomplished yesterday, which would be, I got the entire exhaust removed, got some of the intake removed, enough to be able to pull the motor out of the way. And I did remove the intercooler and the radiator, and it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you're draining the coolant and everything like that, removing some hoses. There's a couple bolts. It's really not that bad to pull that stuff out. So I'm not gonna show everything, and it saves me a little bit of time too. I mean, I'm gonna try and show as much as I can, but in order for me to get this car done, it's gonna be a little bit easier for me to not show everything, like, oh, here's how you remove this screw, this screw, this screw. I'm just not gonna go into 110% full-blown, in-depth how to do this and how to remove your exhaust. That's pointless. And I've already done it, so it's kind of gonna be repetitive. So I'm gonna try and do some stuff with it as far as that. So we got all that stuff removed. Me and Kyle removed all that yesterday. And as far as the condensing coil for the air conditioning, that I'm just gonna try, and I say try, get the cover off here a little bit, but that I'm gonna try and just let hang. I actually moved it so I could video a little bit, but I did have it tucked up in there, sitting on the brackets for where the radiator went. So now we have a clear visual of the front of the motor and everything, so I can actually start to get all that stuff tore apart and from the top and everything, and remove the fuel line. And one thing that I do want to point out, if I can get the hood popped here, the fuel line, I'm pretty sure you need a special tool for it. I did not use a special tool. You can actually get away with it if you do it right and you're careful doing it. You can get away without using the special tool. So, and my hood didn't even open. So, try it again. Anyway, there we go. So basically, and I have it wrapped with a rag right now, but basically there's 4 tabs in there, and those 4 clips, there you can kind of see them, they hold on to that little ring, little lip right there, and you need a special tool to actually get inside there to push all those tabs at the same time so you can pop it off of there. What I did is I used a small, very small screwdriver and did each one individually and just kept pressure on it so it would actually pop over the lip, and it was pretty simple. So you don't really need the tool, but you just still have to be careful so you don't mess up the clips or anything like that, because if you break that or mess that up, then you're replacing fuel line and everything else, and I don't want to get into all that because fuel line's fine, so to my knowledge anyway, thus far. So anyway, that's pretty much where we're at right now. This is the first time I've got to work on it really since the last video, so whatever that is, 3 weeks, a month, maybe over a month now. So there's definitely a lot more to do to it, and my cover's blowing off at the moment. So I apologize if the wind's making a lot of noise here, but I did end up getting the, I obviously had the drain pan for a while. I haven't even had a chance to assemble any of this stuff, but I did get the drain pan bolts. I don't remember if I put that in the last video or not, but I've had those for a little while now. So I can begin to start assembling that. And I also have an engine stand here now. So there's definitely a lot to do, definitely a lot of work yet. And we're just gonna try and keep plugging away at it. But as of now, we definitely got a lot further because I got all that stuff off. I've just been really trying to work on it whenever I can, but with the weather and everything, it's just been really messing everything up. And so as you can see, not really much has changed as far as the engine bay itself. I mean, obviously the coolant line is off now. Part of the intake is off of the throttle body. And one thing I cannot stress enough is when you're doing something like this and you're removing nuts, bolts, whatever the case may be, especially in here, I mean, these weren't too bad, but just looking at this, how rusted that is and everything, anytime you're removing bolts with anything like this, WD-40 or liquid wrench, anything like that is gonna be your best friend. Or even heat if you have to do that. I don't like using heat unless I absolutely need to. But WD-40 is gonna be your best friend with stuff like this. And I haven't used it a whole lot with this car, believe it or not, but I have used some yesterday in removing the exhaust, which I just had off a couple months ago. So, I mean, they do seize back up and everything, so it's gonna be your best friend. So definitely keep it handy and use it whenever you need to. So basically where I stand now is I'm pretty much gonna have to get a bunch of the lines out of the way, a bunch of the wires disconnected, and trace everything. I mark everything and figure out what all is what, and just make sure I have everything sorted out and make sure I know what everything is, where everything is, get my engine mounts and everything loose and everything, drop the tranny. There's a whole lot of stuff I got to do yet, so I'm not going to go over really any of that stuff because the wiring, a lot of that could be different, and for you to follow along with all the wiring is going to be a nightmare, so I'm not even going to get into that. But just going to try and get a bunch of stuff done, and like I said, it is kind of cold out and windy, so who knows what I'll get done. But this is where I stand so far. Like I said, I'm going to try and let that hang. Hopefully I can, so I don't have to mess with the AC system. But all the parts and everything are over here, and all this stuff and I believe these fans did work. I don't think it overheated or anything. It could have, I don't know. It's really hard to say with this thing, but anyway, it's gonna get a brand new radiator. That one's probably fine, but I don't really care going all out, so I'm gonna try and go as much new as possible. So brand new radiators going in, brand new intercooler, and it's gonna have a brand new exhaust too, so I didn't really care if the bolts twisted off yesterday. They didn't, but either way, didn't care if they did. So a lot of new stuff going in this. I'm really excited to get it underway, and the goal was to have it done by, I would say, beginning of spring was the original goal, and now the latest goal is the end of spring, which I still don't see that happening. I'm gonna try and push hard for it, but the way everything's going, it just doesn't seem that way, like it's gonna happen. But as long as I can have it done by this year in 2018, I'll be happy. Will that happen? I don't know. I'm really hoping. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I got to do with the interior. As you can see, this is pretty much the exact same as it was last video. So I didn't do anything in here. Nothing has changed as far as that. So I'm really excited to get that all cleaned up. I was at Motorama this year. There was quite a few Cobalts there, and it was more of a motivation seeing them there, seeing them really clean and mint on the inside and even the engine bay. So it was a little bit of a motivation to get me rolling with this again. But at the same time, there's just so much work. So hope you guys enjoyed this little update. Like I said, I'm not gonna really get into anything, but just to give you guys an overview of what's going on, what happened, and where we stand with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, comments, be sure to leave them below. Drop the video on any social media site, share it, however. Give it a big thumbs up. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Have a great day.